posting the wrong message. I'm catching myself on that. Okay. So yeah, this season Strafe Impale is. All right. Ready when you are. Oh. I don't know how I got hit, but I got hit. Stray bullet. Ray Paragon. My shooting at least makes me feel like I'm contributing in some way, form, or fashion. I'll make sure before the next run that I'll put on Nemesis bracers for us. I got you, Crix. Gotta love backstabbers. I know, right? So you need to walk periodically. Yep. That's what I was noticing. Oh. Hmm. I'll add that to the stash. As much relevant stuff as I can. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Stage where I already went. And do the Kuthos. Just point weapon. Yeah, I saw that in the guide. At this point, I was like, I want to see if I was wanting to do this, but I've got enough crucibles that once I kind of get more or less everything else, then I was going to do basically what the bug guide was saying. Holy point shot is really naturally rolled. Wow. Let's see. I'm doing good, Funks. How you doing, sir? Doing good, doing good. Actually went through a few things earlier today and was able to kind of get some things straightened out. And yeah, at this point, get everything organized, get everything straightened out with the barb. At this point, we got lot. I walked right into that. Idinless, aka Mr. Lotware, is doing some 110s for me. I'm his backpack as of right now. How was your day? Contribute? Nope. Yeah, contributing is not happening. We'll stay back more. definitely liking the speed a little bit more with this build versus the barb. Just not fast enough for me. Oh, that's dang it! I forgot to do that. I will switch. So see me walking. I literally have issues with hatred already. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's up to you. I have no problem being a backpack. I know I'm not gonna kill anything at this point. Finally, something that actually fits my build. Let's see, what'd you say? Uh, the starter. Yeah, I've got a captain set as of right now. Yeah, I've got Captain Crimson's. I mean, they're not great, but let's see.
Yeah, so I wanted to speak up with the push to talk. I said it to push to talk for a moment.
Oh, hold on, just 1 second.
Okay.
I need to turn your volume up so I can hear you.
Okay.
Say, one more time?
Yes, testing.
Say that again. What were you saying?
Oh yeah. I was just making sure that okay, so Captain Set, you want to use it later. I mean, it's nice that you have it, but you want to use it later, and the reason for that is because of the health pool and toughness issue. Um, yeah. So, and also if you're doing too low, with me having hatred issues already at 110 sometimes, if you do too low, let's say you'd like to do GR 100, but your damage is going up and up, Impale has an issue, right? So then that Visage of Goons, the reason why I want to speak up is because a lot of people actually get too restrictive with their center cube slot, and the Guardian set enables you to flex, meaning change up your center cube slot as you need it. So what Visitor Goons does, if you don't know, is that you can use Vengeance Seath rune on yourself, and then the Visitor Goons in the cube gives you the Dark Heart rune for the damage reduction. So if you need to do like lower GRs like 90 or 100 or whatever that you have hatred issues with, you can use Vengeance Seath instead on yourself, as long as your vengeance's uptime is 100%, right? So so that is one way to do it, and that's why I dropped the visitor goons, and it looks really weird. But if you need more defense in the higher GRs, you can go back to the original Shadow Impale, where people use the Aquila Cuirass in the center cube slot for no generator. So I'm using no generator, and no generator version with Guardians, the reworked Guardian set, enables you to flex the center cube slot instead of being trapped by like mental channeling, which is actually equipped on you.
Yeah, that's what I've got right now.
And also, if you got Raps of Clarity, the captain set um, kind of makes you equip Raps of Clarity, and you're gonna get stuck between either Raps of Clarity or mental channeling in the cube as captain set. So it is very restrictive. Whereas the
Okay.
Guardian set with the no generator build, especially the no generator build, you get to use different cube center slots. So that's all I wanted to say, just in case, because a lot of people don't really understand how to keep their hatred up, aside from pushing the GR up. It's not just that though, because if you actually take too much damage and you die for some reason, then it doesn't work.
So, as far as like pants and belt right now, you're saying I should mix trade that out with something else
Uh,
specifically?
yeah, shadow. Okay, so for the shadow set, if you're using the guardians, so I can link my guardians, right? So my guardians is not like the best or anything, but anyway, so you would use belt and bracer for the guardian set, and then use shadow pants, and then equip the mental channeling. And then if you want defensiveness, because I'm using no generator, so I don't use focus and restraint. Focus and restraint has a lot of damage, yes, but impale build itself has already a lot of damage. So you're not
Yeah.
actually lacking damage. And for speed runs, focus and restraint, the primary skill is useful, but if you're already killing things so fast and you're not getting really that hurt, like in general, after a while when you get used to the build, you don't actually need to use the primary skill for focus and restraint to deal more damage in speeds. You only want to use focus and restraint when you're actually pushing. So
Gotcha.
so until you push to a certain point where you feel like you need focus and restraint, then you would go back to the generator build. The no generator build that, let's say, the popular streamers Rax or whomever you watch um uses the no generator. Yeah, that's the reason, because you're killing so fast you don't need to do more than you need to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I use elusive ring and COE. Now you can choose to use SOJ as well for speedruns. So elusive ring gives you that damage reduction that you lack already. And then again, like I said, if you're lacking even more damage reduction, then just use Aquila in the cube. But this is again for no generator, because at some point the Guardian set uses bracer slot on you, so you don't have Raps of Clarity. So therefore you have to put Raps of Clarity in the cube, right? Which
Gotcha.
which makes it to be very restrictive, like I said. Yeah. But hopefully you're getting starting to get some shadow set, because just now I only got the boot so far.
Yeah, I've mainly like I have so shadow sets wise, I've got a 5 piece shadow set.
Oh, nice.
Um,
That's good then. That's good to
so
start.
would you say? Because I've got the helm, I've got chest piece, pants, I've got the boots and the shoulders. I've got all of them now. They're not like I just started yesterday, so at this point I've only got
Right.
like one ancient of
Oh, that's fine.
all three.
That's fine. As long as you start later on when you have materials, you can start optimizing, the pieces.
Yeah,
But having the full well, 5 is good. You have the royal ring, right? Or you don't?
yeah,
Okay, you
yeah.
do?
I've got it in the cube right
Yes.
now.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so let me see. Let me view your profile. Is it updated? Okay, so yeah, so you would want to craft do you have the Guardians plans, or have you not seen it yet?
Um, let's see. You talking
At
about
the
like the
blacksmith.
console?
At the blacksmith. Cuz
Let's
cuz
see.
it will be a plan. It's a level 70 version. It's under you can check under the belt first if you see it. It should be the third line, I think.
Guardians. Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah, so you want to craft a one belt and one bracer. The Guardian's case and the Guardian's aversion.
Let's see here. Do this. Wait, let's see here.
So now the only thing left to do after the belt and the bracer is that if you did not have Shadow Pants, you might have to have enough Death's Breath and Forgotten Souls to convert to one of your pairs to pants because you were using captains initially, just in case you didn't have Shadow Pants.
So at this point, you think I should switch to Shadow Pants instead of the Unhallowed Essence?
I mean, if you're playing the Shadow Impale, you have to use 5-piece Shadow.
Okay.
So therefore, it would be Shadow Pants.
Let's see here. This one I'm thinking. Let's see here. Helmet. Going with the crisscross. That's what it looks like. I think this was the one I had, and then
Yeah, so of course, if you want to play UE, you want to make sure you save the UE build before you do all the changes. But yeah, I'm watching.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let me actually do that real quick.
yeah, do the save. Yeah, remember that your Shadow Pants is on though, so you want to save properly. Yes, okay. Yeah, save your gear first,
Yeah.
and even the captain's belt. I think you swapped out too
Yeah.
many
I'll
things.
put that back. Put that
Yeah,
back on.
yeah, yeah. Make sure you save it. I was just thinking about that earlier.
Let me actually grab this and put that on. Okay. Right. So let's put these back. Take that out. We'll need socket.
So yeah, if you're used to the generator build, no problem. Just put the wraps of clarity into the center slot. But I just wanted you to,
Of just in the cube.
yeah. So I
Okay.
gave you the Visage Dragoons for extraction for when you want to play no generator. But if you're used to the max roll guide with the generator, with the Bola, or whichever other generator you like to use, whether it's grenades, I think some streamers like to use grenades, but Bola Freezing Strike is the usual one. That you can just put the Wraps of Clarity into the center cube slot to facilitate your generator version. But the Guardian set is really strong because it gives you actual stats, um, basically doubling your stats.
Okay.
Yeah, as you go higher, you want to use diamonds, but emeralds is fine.
Okay.
It helps with the Guardian set itself as well. So emerald is fine, but if you are dying, then you want to go back to diamonds.
Okay.
But if not, emerald is, you know, the whole point of the Guardian set. I just like to use diamonds in general.
Okay. It's putting them all together. Throw that in the cube. And you want me to throw the Vistas of Goons in the cube as well?
I
Or
mean,
keep that?
you can keep it if you are thinking that you're using too much bounty materials, but if you have a lot of bounty materials, then just extract it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll wait to do that then.
yeah, you don't have to extract it right now if you don't want to. Yeah, just keep it in case you want to extract it. Okay, so have you crafted any daggers from the
I've
blacksmith?
got I've got the Carly's Point,
Okay,
if that's what you're asking about,
okay.
and that is actually in the I actually have that in the cube as well.
You
So
want a weapon. You want a melee weapon because the shadow set, the two-piece bonus, it says you have to have a melee weapon.
okay.
Yeah, so you want a usable one. So that's what I did too. In the beginning, I this season I started with Carly's extracted because that was what I got. And so down the road when I went straight to Shadow, two-piece, I had to craft dagger and I got lucky with my first dagger after that to be a Carly's point instead of struggling with more materials. Yeah. So you need a melee weapon, which is Carly's. Yeah, so just any Carly would work. Yeah, that's pretty good. That one's actually pretty good, the one you have. So the only thing missing now is Holy Point Shot, right? So do you have one as well, or do we have to hunt for one? I mean, I haven't seen one
Let's
yet.
see. Get that. As far as on the head, what should I?
Diamonds, because you want
Okay.
Vengeance cooldown. Yeah. So later on, after we can optimize your damage as well at the Mystic Lady, the reroll lady, as well if you want. But that's the last check. Do you have a Holy Point Shot quiver?
Let's see. Holy points. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just
I've got.
yeah, equip the Holy Point because that's the combo. Okay, so it's lightning and you got 99. So that's nice. That's really nice. Even though your bracer is cold right now, it doesn't matter. The build is really really strong. So so how much crafting materials do you have? I mean, you have been farming on your barbarian. How much crafting materials do you have? Just
Let's see.
I just make sure that, we're re-rolling stats that, you have enough. Do you have enough for like normal re-rolling stats?
The only thing I don't have over 1,000 is Forgotten Souls.
Okay, we won't reach that far. I don't think so. So you have enough. Okay.
I mean, I've got a lot of. I appreciate the shout out there, Grix. Yeah, I mean, I've got. I really haven't been. I haven't really been doing much. It's, the thing I'm lacking is like downy materials. That's it.
Okay, we won't be using that. We were just going to the lady at the corner over here up top after you dealt with your stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and. I don't need to keep any of the stuff that I've got in my inventory, right?
I haven't looked. I mean, what do you have? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I got an ad. Give me 1 second. Well, 30 seconds. Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, I had to pause it because I don't want more computer resources. That's all. But I'll unpause for a moment.
Let me actually do bracers.
So yeah, this one is really, really strong. We just have to optimize your gear, and then soon, you can even just do like I think GR 95 to even 100 with just what you have. We just have to optimize it a bit more.
As far as GRs.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can go straight to like 100, and then if you're having issues with hatred, that means you can go higher. So
Okay.
it just comes down to yeah. So you're pretty good. So after you settle, okay. So let's see. Uh, what's that focus look like? I mean, obviously you can compare yourself that focus ring, but
Yeah, it's not that great.
okay. The Bariza you can give it to a scoundrel if you want. That first weapon on the top left, you can give it to a scoundrel if you want. Um, and then I think the rest you can dump because there's no reason to unless you have some very particular thing you need.
No.
Okay, yeah. And then we'll go to the corner lady so that you can start participating a bit more.
Corner lady with
Where
the.
I am,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just call it the mystic lady, but I,
Okay.
I just wanted to let you understand better. Okay, so
Okay.
let's see. Let me view your profile in the. So for your helmet, you want to roll armor to crit hit chance. So now, obviously, the most ideal helmet
100%.
is the okay. So if you got six is good. The most ideal helmet you want down the road when you have more paragons and vitality in general is that you want both crit hit chance and impale because impale is actually part of helmet and
Yeah.
boots and quiver. But you don't really always need the impale. You just want at least two places that have the impale skill bonus. Three,
100%. Nice.
yeah, three places is the best, obviously. but you don't want to sacrifice survivability for that impale damage if you can't get it. So
Okay.
yeah, let's go to the shoulders. Your shoulders is pretty good except the vitality, right? So you wanted sentry to cool down. So sentry damage to cool down.
Okay.
So well, well, hopefully you get 8%, but if not, you know, minimum 6 or something like that, preferably 7.
So I'm wanting
Cool down.
cooldown. Okay, reduces cooldown. Okay,
Yes.
cooldown of 8.
Oh wow, okay. That's
See,
fast.
I get lucky with these.
Okay,
I don't
so
even notice it. I get
that's
close.
good. I mean, that's good because we can. It's faster, and you can get to playing the build even quicker. That's good. So in this build, like now the original Shadow Impale for gloves, the Shadow Impale used to have attack speed, but because we're strafing now, and the only thing we haven't done is the sanctification, but we'll get to that later. So for the gloves, you actually don't need the attack speed, so you can just remove attack speed for critical hit damage.
Okay, so I've got 9.5 on critical hit chance right now.
Yes, so you want attack speed to critical hit damage. Yep. Yeah. So area is good down the road. So your gloves is really nice for area, but this only means that you're gonna struggle with cooldown. So we have to find some places with for cooldown.
Okay.
All right, so 30 is okay. I mean, you can go a little bit more if you want, but I mean, around maybe 40, 42, maybe. I mean, you can try a few more times if you want.
Yeah.
If you
And what's gonna be the next thing we're gonna go for?
The next thing I want you to do is your focus ring. Change that to cooldown. So hopefully you get. I don't know how much Imperial emeralds you have, but we want cooldown because your gloves didn't roll cooldown. I mean, didn't have cooldown initially.
Okay.
So we want cooldown for your focus ring, which is really. I'm really happy to see that your focus ring isn't up like fully optimized. I mean, it's a really good one that eventually you want, the damage range or something. But
Yeah.
right now we need cooldown because your gloves doesn't have it.
Yeah. I've only got 2 emeralds right now because I literally
Okay.
just got done doing
Okay. Okay.
I
Got
should
it.
do I got
The
a
puzzles and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. We can.
yeah I
Yeah.
got a puzzle that we can sanctify and get it make
Yeah,
it an
yeah,
ancient.
yeah. We'll do that later then. Okay, let's go back to the other thing because I was just trying to make sure that you get your cooldown because vengeance is important. So I was just trying to work on cooldown, but you know the deal and you'll do it later. So
Okay.
the belt is not the best. So you can just change grenade to base vitality. So ultimately your belt you want is all resist, vitality, and 15% life. So obviously dex, right? But you want the 3 lines: base vitality, all res, and 15% life. Because there's no skill that you need on the belt. So your belt's okay, but could be better.
Okay.
Pants is fine. Uh, Now boots, yours rolled physical res, which is okay. The one skill you want is cluster arrow to impale. So hopefully you get some impale damage from cluster arrow. Just try a few times.
So cluster arrow. So you want to change that to impale instead?
Yes, just try like, I don't know, 5 to 10 times or something. Hopefully you get some impale.
Oh, there's 10%.
Okay, that's okay. Um, okay, so your weapon, did you do a socket on it yet with the gift, or do you not have any more gifts?
I've got I think 2 gifts right now, and I think it already is.
Okay, you gifted it.
Yeah.
Wait, did you really gift it? I mean, I don't think so,
Oh
right?
no. I don't think I did. I think I got that on a. That was my first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. First aircraft. Yeah, that's what I thought. So you want to roll socket? Well, take off the gem first, and then yeah,
Okay. Looks like we're gonna stick with 10% for now.
yeah,
Let's
yeah. Just
see.
stick with 10% because the build itself is really really strong. So
All right. Oh, yeah, we've got a cube here. So we're gonna reroll socket
Yeah,
for
reroll
what?
socket out for reroll socket out for cooldown because I think you're missing cooldown. So,
Okay.
yeah. So normally though you want 10% damage, but obviously right now this is just your first one, and we're lacking cooldown. And since we don't have the gems yet, the Imperial gems for your focus ring, so we might as well get cooldown here. Yeah, you want probably like at least 8.
10%.
Oh, you got 10. Okay, nice. Now you can socket it with the gift.
All right.
All right. So how many angelic crucibles do you have?
A lot.
Okay.
I'm assuming you want me to go ahead and do the holy point.
Yes.
I got 19, so at this point I'm
Okay. So yeah. So how many holy point shots do you have, like quiver wise, like individually in your stash? Is this the only one,
this is
or
the only one.
okay? So why I ask this question is because sometimes you want to experiment with different elements, right? And so you want to do the same thing just like the traditional reforging legendary, right? You want to keep like 2 to 3. But anyway, since you only have one, just take it off, put it in your inventory, and then try to sanctify with the thing and see whether you get strafe as the power.
So
So you want to
sanctify.
sanctify, yeah,
So sanctify the holy shot while it's not
equipped.
equipped.
Yeah, because you can't sanctify while equipped. At least I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me unpause again your stream. Okay, I got it. Let me see. Yeah, just do slow one at a time and see if you got strafe power.
Strafe now casts.
Okay, so you got a physical. Now, physical I haven't tested. Um, but you can still play with the physical. This is okay. I mean, I don't know how much you want to invest, okay? Because you have not too many.
I mean, at this point, I don't really care because I haven't really. I haven't. I'm only like crucibles like two things, so I'm not like.
Okay, okay. So I mean, I'm just taking. I just don't want you to take so much risk where after 19 you didn't get back your strafe, and that's the reason why in the first place I talked about how we want multiple holy point shots. But I guess we can try a few more times because physical is actually the least played one. So you want
Okay.
any other except physical while having strafe. Yeah, funk. We can do that too. But I want stronger stuff because I don't really think this is too good. Like there's so many things that are bad on there.
Lightning skills.
Okay, no, it's vengeance.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean I mean if he wants to get lucky, he has to get as lucky as my holy point shot. So we're not going there.
Skills.
Okay, try again.
Fire arrow.
Yeah, hopefully.
Physical skill.
Okay, try again. Yeah. I was struggling with cold when I was messing around with cold, even though cold isn't
Armor
the best.
skills.
Okay, yeah. See, this is the danger now.
Vengeance.
This is the danger zone now, so keep trying. It's still vengeance. At least the delay says. Okay, cluster. Okay, try again. Yeah, this is the danger zone. That's the reason why we want multiple.
Casting vengeance.
Okay,
Physical skills.
hopefully you get strafe back again. So this is the part where I felt. Yeah, I mean funk. This is the only issue. Um, go again.
Firecaster. Physical.
Yeah, yikes. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't
Okay.
thinking
Fine.
okay, okay, this is fine. Good, 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 good. Perfect. Okay, this is good. Just use this lightning is good for speeds and it's fine. So this is good. This is what we want to sit so that you can refarm the angelic crucibles that we just spent. Okay?
Yeah.
So so you yeah, so this is good. So this is temporarily decent now. Um check your details for me real quick. Click details and I want to see what your cooldown right now is at. I'm blind.
34.
34. So you're like a little short. So you want, for manual pressing, you want 38.67. So you're a little shot. Now, well, I know, Funk. The only other thing I would say now is how much crafting materials do you want to spend? Because sometimes re-rolling quiver, because the list is very long for offhands, you might struggle. But yeah. So if we're having a cooldown issue right now, as of right now, bolas to cooldown. So we want to go back to the Mystic Lady and do and go and try bolas to cool down first. I know it's crit hit chance, but you want cooldown because there's a long list. It's like a 21 to 25 properties. Pick the okay. I was gonna say you can.
I usually just keep picking the top one.
Okay.
That's just
Yeah. I mean, I saw the critical hit chance, but like you don't have the cooldown right now, and that's the problem. But pick the critical hit chance though, at the least, if it pops up again. Yeah, you want cool.
boosts cooldown by 8.
Yes, yes. Okay. So now what's your cooldown?
39.99.
Nice. So this is helping you for manually pressing Vengeance, even in group play. So this is not counting solo play where you use Enchantress, right? But
Yep.
as long as you have 37 or higher, and 38.67 or higher is best for manual pressing, which is what I use. So my setup that I have, I don't have cooldown on my quiver, but 38.67 is what I have, and that is what I go by with manual pressing. And I mean by manual pressing, meaning I don't use numlock or anything. So if you like to use numlock, that's fine. But I'm just saying 38.67 is the best window where you even have a delay of like half a second to 1 second, where you can still mispress Vengeance if you want with the 38 plus. Okay, so yeah, so now we're almost. No, you don't want to reroll, keep rerolling the quiver. You're fine. It maxes out at 8.
Okay.
Yeah. I was wondering what you were doing. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a 10. I
No,
apologize.
no, 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 no problem, no problem, no problem at all. I just didn't want you to waste so much mats because it has so many properties. Um, yeah. Let's see. Your main gems that you want to use for this build, they're like basically 3 to 4. But the main three is Taeguk, Trapped, and Zeiss. Now, Stricken is the fourth one, depending on whether you need it down the road. So you want
What's the last one you said?
Zeiss or Zeiss, the one where you stand a little further away.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah. So
Looks like an eye.
yes, correct. So you want to level that up as well. Well, in the meantime, you probably want to level that up as we play. Yeah. So I so now you're using lightning, right? So your only thing is your bracers. Your bracers aren't that great, but it's cold damage. So temporarily we can just go for lightning if you really want to maximize your lightning impale. So we can just go lightning. But obviously you want, well, for now it's lightning, dex, crit, vit, and stuff, right? So you want cold damage to lightning temporarily. You eventually craft better belt and bracer.
Let's see. Lightning. 20.
Yeah, you don't have to go crazy lightning damage. Just something, something of lightning will work. Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, same, Funk, same. I want a decent weapon as well because I already jumped straight to the holy point shot. Well, I went from Carly at the start, like I said, sanctifying, and then I went to the holy point shot because I kept multiples, and so I already got natural roll holy point shot, like fire natural one with all this good stuff, just like the embed. Um, to the point where I want to use it. So I have been using it after GR 126. So I pushed all the way with no generator version all the way to 135. So now I need to practice the focus and restraint way because I'm lacking damage from the no generator version. So yeah, even my 135 was struggling. I actually used 20 total keys to get my 135. That's not a lot, but that's also without fishing. Okay. So that's just not to brag about it, but it's just like, a lot of people think that you need to fish like very soon, but you don't. Um, but 135 is where it starts to fish. So now you have quite a bit of damage. I think you're able to do. I mean, have you watched people play, or have you?
I mean, I've seen. Ooh, maybe that's my problem in higher GRs. I'm using no gen version.
You can use no gen up to one. Up to, like I said, I did 135, and I did that. By the way, for my 135, I did that finishing it. I was only 1460 Paragon when I did my 135. Okay, I did 134 or whatever around 1278 or something like that. When I closed the GR 134, I was 1278 Paragon, so under 1300. So if you're way higher than me, you should be able to do it. You just have to get yourself become more tanky. Now, what is the solution to becoming more tanky? Well, you have to use Guardian set because you're not at the Paragon to use Captains yet.
Gotcha.
And yeah, and so for the Guardian set, just like I mentioned earlier before we even started doing this whole shadow thing, is that the center cube slot for the no generator build is very flexible. So in the beginning, right? In the beginning, how I played the no gen, even from the 27th, yeah, you don't want to use focus and restraint, even though it helps with damage, right? Like, so focus and restraint rolls really well for primary stats, such that it gives you more sheet damage and everything, and your crit chance, crit damage ratio, and stuff like that. But for the no generator, you actually want to use elusive ring and COE, or SOJ if you're not pushing, right? So if you're pushing, you want to use elusive ring and COE. So you might have to think about that. And talking about the center cube slot, so because you don't use any generator, at the beginning for GR 90 through about 119, you want to use Visage of Goons because you might have hatred issues. If your damage is higher than the push, then you want Visage of Goons so that you can use Seath Rune on Vengeance yourself, and then the Visage of Goons gives you Dark Heart Rune for the damage reduction. So that's step one of the flex. Step two, when you hit GR 120, let's say you're lacking damage. Well, it depends on which element you're using, right? If you're using cold, you can use Frostburns as the center cube slot for more damage. If you're using fire and you need more damage, you can use Mage Fist. Or when I did the 135, I actually went for Hexing Pants. Apparently, Hexing Pants is also very strong for doing 135. So if you're using fire, you can choose to use either Mage Fist or Hexing Pants in the center cube slot. And if you're dying, remember, if you've played Shadow Impale originally, you can use Aquila Cuirass as long as you have hatred, like maximum hatred, more or less. Aquila Cuirass works for defense. So Aquila Cuirass on top of Elusive Ring, on top of Taeguk. So you need to use Taeguk if you're not using Taeguk, because some people like to use Zeiss, Trapped, and Stricken for maximum damage. But if you're dying on, like, let's say GR 126 and up, Taeguk, it gives you the armor, and it already, as you strafe, you're gaining damage anyway. So it's a defensive and offensive already. Stricken is just to give you that stack if you're taking too long, but you don't need Stricken for like a long time, I don't think. So, but however, the funny thing is, I actually struggled on GR 132 because I wasn't using Trapped. I thought Stricken worked because I was elite hunting, just like speed running, as Shadow Impale originally does. We elite hunt, right? So I was using Stricken for some reason. So at 132, I felt like the density, like those skeletons with the purple orb shooting summoner, those skeletons kept blocking my damage because fire rune. So if you have played the Gears of Dreadlands set, right, and if you've played with the Fortress Ballista, I always relate the fire rune for this Shadow Impale build currently like the Fortress Ballista because it doesn't pierce. So meaning to say that you want to kill stuff that you already hurt them. Trapped is what you need to kill density. So if you're struggling with density, trapped is the gem you want to use. So I use stricken all the way from GR like 90 through 131. But then as soon as I hit 132, I found that the density was not dropping. And if the density isn't dropping, they're gonna body block you against the elites. And if there's too much density, your Squirt's necklace also doesn't get even like 2 to 3 stacks at all. Because if they're the range monsters, or if you have to take more damage, then you don't get Squirt's necklace at all, right? So I made a mistake of using stricken too much. So at 132, I lost my one key streak. So usually I push first try almost all the time. My 130, my 126 through 131 were all first tries. It's not like you need some amazing rift or anything, but you want decent progression anyway, right? But I got semi lucky every now and then, but they were all first tries. From 126 to 131, I had no death. At most like one or two cheat procs, but never died. And the reason is because I use Aquila Cuirass in my center cube slot. So I have Elusive Ring, Taeguk, and Aquila Cuirass. When you have post toughness, post buff toughness while you're strafing, it goes up to like 1.5 to 2.2 billion toughness.
Oh wow.
So you actually, so with the Guardian set combined. So the Guardian set with the no generator is so tanky to the point that people may not realize, which is why captains, you only switch to captains when you have enough Paragon to use it, or if you stacked enough health pool for that captains. And the reason why well, for me, I don't want to use captains is because now if you have a helmet that is offensively rolled, which earlier I talked about the six crit and the impale,
Yep.
because the helmet is turned offensively, you know how God DH or some tanky builds where the helmet doesn't use a skill on your skill bar, that you can use base vitality on your helmet, right? So I am still using a helmet with base vitality. So I'm more tanky just in the captain set itself. So my captain set um combination, I have around 785k life total without using any paragon points into my vitality. I mean, you want around 750k and above with captain set. If you're below that, as you go higher, you're gonna get one shot, even with focus and restraint. I mean, if you're good at playing it, you might not get one shot, but as you go higher, you will feel that. So that's why captains is not advised until you have enough paragon. But
Gotcha.
but of course, then we say, well, if you have paragons, but people like to put main stat all the time, so when do we put vitality on our Paragon points, right? Well, if your helmet is offensive, the standard way to do it is because the helmet gives 1000 vitality total as ancient rolls or primal, right? But if you don't have that 1000 vitality, you use your Paragon points, the 200 Paragons, into vitality in the Paragon instead, which will make up for the thing. So,
Yeah,
but
which is what I'm doing right now. I initially will put initial Paragon into 200.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, I was just trying to help Funk. I know I overtook the stream, but I was just trying to help Funk with the no generator because a lot of people think that, or some people think that the no generator cannot push, but in fact you can. And I have my own experience, and I have my VODs as well if you need it. So I have like the evidence to back it up,
Nice.
and even the leaderboard. I'm on the leaderboard with the 135. So that's another thing itself. So either way, you can push no generator up to like around 135, um, because it's limited by no focus and restraint. So which tells you that if I'm using focus and restraint, then I should be able to do even higher because I'm lacking the damage from that. So so I like to so when I did my pushes as well, I went to 125 without any augments, by the way. I didn't even say that earlier. I actually pushed all the way to 125 without augments. But here we can say that it's not a brag either because why? The tier list of the Shadow Impale build went up. So based on the tier list, because it's so powerful, you don't actually need the augments to get you to push high. Well, relatively mid high. So until you hit a wall, then you augment. Now, if you're already augmenting, that means that you were already chasing the leaderboards from day 1 or 2. That is a different way to augment. But if you're already behind the leaderboard at all, you might as well just wait before you augment. So that you can see what your set does and what damage you are at. Whereas if you augment already and you're still struggling, then you're like, what can I do? What else can I possibly do to improve? Now, on that note, what can you possibly do to improve? Well, guess what? The guide also says that you can do manual impales. So when you're doing manual impale, you want to be on as many Oculus rings as you can while you're facing the enemies to manually impale with the Oculus ring if it's safe. So that is additional almost 20% damage just by manually impaling and taking advantage of the Oculus rings. And if the Oculus rings are positioned a little farther away, don't be too afraid to go back to the Oculus ring because you want enemies to follow you so that you don't take as much damage because you don't actually want to be in their face. Now, obviously, the build is has a minimum shotgun range, but if you think about it, because you don't want to take too much damage, you can still fall back to your Oculus Ring if it's really far away. But you don't always want to fall back that far. You just want to use some Oculus Rings to act as though you're dodging stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the additional damage that you can do, Funk, if you're having trouble with damage output. You can do manual impales. So that's about it. So I think in the 110 we can try again and see if you're actually able to participate now.
Okay.
I think you can participate, but you might have to do your bolas properly, which is going to be difficult because I'm killing relatively fast. So that's the only downside to it. But if the map allows, you can try to go to a different direction, like a separate way, you
Yeah,
know,
and see what I can do.
and see what you can do. So we'll do 110 and see whether you're having issues. Yeah,
Okay. Sounds good to me.
but I think your skill bars should be set, right? I think you already established the skill bar. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty okay.
Yeah, I had certain things in certain places just for just play style, but yeah, basically followed it from what's been.
Right, right. Yeah. So just practice your playstyle and remove the skills as you need them. And then if the map allows, we'll try to split up and see what problems you have.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, we can't split up this one hardly. Okay, let me vault away and try. Let me vault away to let you do some damage.
I can do damage. I just
Okay.
just happened to get hit.
Okay. All right, I'll let you try to kill that if I haven't killed it yet. Okay, so you want to be like okay, so you want to like bola shot them and then strafe after impaling. Well, okay, so might be a difficult way to start out. I'll have to tell you.
Just got
Yeah.
learning right away.
All right. So the next GR will I'll need to tell you what you need to do at the beginning of the rift, just in case you haven't caught the whole idea about it. Because sometimes you might forget to press one of your thing to enable the build, and that's when you die. What is your health pool at? Yeah, 1.3. So you should be okay. It might be your resistances then. Okay, that might be another issue. Because you are using emeralds. That might be one. You might want to change
Like
that
use
if
diamonds just for
yeah,
resistance.
just for that purpose. Yes,
Okay.
but in the next GR, I'll make sure to tell well before the next GR, I'll tell you what to do at the start just to remind you to do it, just so you don't die like that. Or if you do die, what you need to do to recover better.
Okay.
There's still oh, there's still one monster. Okay, well a few.
appreciate the lurk there, Cricks.
Yeah, I just had to use voice to clear out. Oh wow, we got two battlefields. I just had to use voice to clear it out because it was just too difficult to type all that.
Yeah. 5 minute GR 115. Let's
Five
move
minutes.
into. Nice.
Oh yeah, if I need to do if I need to look at your I ran out of hatred. Okay, that's bad. Yeah. So yeah, if you need me to help you more, I need to see your profile, basically your gear. But I can kind of tell based on how much I've played this no generator already. Um yeah, so the grotesque are like very mean, by the way. For this season, for this build. So if you're using smokescreen or something, you better not be trailing behind because anytime you see grotesque explosions and you're still off screen and you start strafing ahead, you will get exploded. Smokescreen is not really good, even though it's in the guide. Now you have to preemptively consider how you use your smokescreen if you're using smokescreen, because smokescreen can pop you back up at the most inconvenient moment.
Gotcha.
Whereas vaulting from the original build, you are already vaulting away in the mindset that you know you're escaping already. Whereas smokescreen pops you up in the wrong time and then you just get exploded. So smokescreen is like, to me honestly, is not ideal until you are having such a high paragon to where it doesn't matter. So that's the downside of smokescreen. You still don't have the guardian set. Well, I mean, hopefully, you craft it. I mean, I don't know how much you've played, but you should be able to craft guardian set. Yeah, I mean, you can do captains, but your health pool might be really low. So your health pool might be at like, I don't know, 500, between 533 to like, I don't know, 600k maybe, if you're not optimized to have life. So it could be like your belt not being the best. It could be like, your bracers could have rolled all resist for you and you don't have vitality on there for your wraps of clarity or something like that for the captain side. So captains is like a little frustrating when you don't have enough base vitality. Oh, that's good that the 115 went better. Yeah, this season I decided to work on, well, the no generator version, and I want to work on it more because I feel like I can actually contribute more than just following a lot of stuff, which I don't usually do. Only some seasons where I actually do like almost meta. I try to not do that, and since I've already tested it so much, then I know the ins and outs of it. So yeah, at the beginning of the GR, for this build, you want to press your, let's see, your skill bar. Your skill bar. Okay, so you want at the beginning okay, so you don't have one thing, the shadow power, the shadow power skill, I think, right?
Like smoke screen.
So you want to change your preparation because you're not using the no generator. You need to get rid of the preparation for shadow power. So you want shadow power on your bar, but you don't actually press it more than one time at the beginning of of the, of whatever you're doing. So let's say you're out of town or someplace, you need to press shadow power one time first. So at the door, what do I do? At the door, I press three buttons. One,
Okay.
shadow power. Two, vengeance. Three, impale. So all I do is press those three at the start, and then I can strafe.
Okay.
So that's the order that you need to do at the beginning of a GR. And then
All right. So let's see. Let me change this real quick. So they usually do strafe last. So you're doing the way I do it is I roll my fingers. So like
yes, so you can do one, two, three if you want.
yeah. So like vengeance. So 1, 2, 3 would need to be first one I would do is shadow power. What's rune?
Okay, shadow power. Well, the set uses all of them, but if you want to feel good about it, just select gloom. If you want to like purposefully feel like you need the damage reduction, even though it uses all the runes from the set, just select gloom, just to make sure that you know you have the damage reduction.
Okay. So second one would be
Vengeance,
okay, vengeance.
dark heart.
Uh, Heart, and then impale.
Yes, the
Is that
impale is yeah. You're using lightning, so ricochet is
yes?
fine. So
Okay.
yeah, so when you press it at the start of the door, it basically activates your spender for that strafe power from the sanctification. So
Okay.
once you
Drifting shadow is fine.
pardon,
Drifting shadow for strafe.
yes, drifting shadow is fine. You can use any other one, but I would use drifting shadow because our movement speed is actually very slow already, unless you're using smokescreen to facilitate that. But because smokescreen will drain your discipline so much, you're not going to be able to rely on it sooner or later. So,
So at that point, would it be better just to vault?
well, for vaulting, you also use discipline, but for speeds, how you can replenish for vaulting in case you overspend your discipline is blood vengeance in your passive. So for speeds, you can opt to choose in your passive. You can choose blood vengeance if you don't already have. So let's see.
See, I'm
Oh, I got
using
an
tactical
ad.
advantage, thrill of the week, ambush, and thrill of the hunt.
Okay, so tactical advantage is okay, but because if your discipline starts to drain, if you overuse vaulting, then you still want blood vengeance as long as there's health globes to recover the discipline. So a lot of people when they play this strafe impale, you will see that their discipline bar is like nothing. And that's the worst feeling people have with even from the generator build itself. So you need blood vengeance instead of the tactical advantage. Everything else looks good. Um yeah. So blood vengeance is the third one on the first line.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So at that point, I could change my smoke screen to, or I can change that to. You're saying the only bad thing about smoke screen is that
It uses up okay, there's two things bad. It uses a
cooldowns.
lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're using cooldown and you want smoke screen, you can use vanishing powder. Okay? If you still want smoke screen, you can use vanishing powder because it uses cooldown from your gear. Okay? I use vanishing
Gotcha.
powder even from the god DH build. I love vanishing powder. And vanishing powder, if your cooldown is even higher, you can press it almost infinitely to the point where it might even give you Squirt's necklace uptime even higher. But that's if you have enough cooldown to do that. But if not, vanishing powder is something you can still use for smokescreen if you want to use smokescreen. But if you don't use smokescreen, you use vault. There's two choices. One is tumble. The other is acrobatic. Now, acrobatic is interesting only if you have a killer in the cube. And the reason why I say that is because if let's say you have hatred issues, during how when there's gaps or when let's say I'm killing a lot of stuff ahead of you and you run out of hatred and you have a killer in the cube, right? But a killer, if you fall below 90% hatred, you're gonna lose stuff. In the no generator version, I can use in the preparation that you have, right? If you go to preparation first, just to visually see it, preparation has a lot of different runes that you can use. And in preparation, punishment is the old UE kind of way. Well, there's two ways to play UE. One is
Yeah,
invig.
that was one that they had on there that they wanted you to do it to restore
Yeah,
your
restore
AC.
it. Yeah, yeah. So there's two ways to play UE. Most people use invigoration because UE plays upon max discipline for damage. But if you run out of hatred, then punishment is the other. So if you're using a killer in the cube for the no generator version that maybe Funk is playing, and if he's finding that there's some issues with hatred, you can use preparation, punishment, and then vault with acrobatic. Now vault with acrobatic has a cooldown for like about the window is about 2 seconds off. So what you want to do with vaulting really is not for speeds. It's more for dodging stuff and to potentially go to an Oculus ring when you need it. So it's a little bit weird to use acrobatics, but it reduces the craziness, the cost of discipline if you actually run out. So you won't run out with vault. If you decide to use vault, you can use acrobatic. Since the preparation went to punishment instead of focus mind, because focus mind replenishes discipline. So this way, your Aquila Curious will be able to regain the damage reduction from Aquila Curious because you refill above 90%. And if you have more cooldown, your preparation punishment goes up faster so that anytime you have some gap, density gap, or if your friends are killing too fast and you still want to strafe, you can still strafe. On top of that, if any stragglers start to try to hit you, because you still maintain your Aquila, you don't get one shot.
Gotcha.
So this is just a different way to play the preparation and your survivability skills such as smokescreen or vault.
I just mainly am thinking like, obviously, being my second season, I look at it from a, um, dash like in like for the monk.
Yes, correct.
So at that point, I want to have something because I like being able to just move around quick. I like that
Yes.
functionality. That's really how I play in just any build. Um,
Correct.
so what would actually be the almost the equivalent?
Yes, equivalent will be vault tumble. So what you want to do is vault tumble, and you want to vault as soon as you think that you need discipline and you killed stuff already and you see health globes, vault towards the health globes. I mean,
Okay,
obviously, if there's monsters there, you don't want to like purposely vault into it and die. But if you know that you don't die and you want to take that risk, then you vault for the discipline when you need it. But vault tumble, you should be okay with discipline for vaulting. It's not that bad. It's actually lesser cost than both special recipe and displacement. Displacement is the highest cost. Yeah, so vaulting is like dashing, it's like teleporting, stuff like that. So it's really, really decent. So yeah, so
so
that's yeah.
it's just the cost.
Yeah, it will cost a little bit sooner or later.
Yeah,
So you just have to keep in mind. But I believe that when you're doing your 105 or whatever speeds, you're not really gonna need the vaulting. It's just gonna help you in case there's no enemies. Then you have an
yeah,
extra mobility instead of just the smokescreen displacement, which is the extra mobility. But because it costs like 10 to 12 each time, your discipline is not gonna recover sooner or later, which is why a lot of people are having the blue orb issue, and they always ask the people who write the guides or ask other people, what do you do with the discipline? And the answer is always you don't have to worry about it. Well, to me that's not really an answer necessarily, but to keep in mind of other people liking to see their orb refill to a certain extent, I just like to give them options to where they feel better about it instead of like you don't need to worry about it. Well, you do in a sense because grotesques, like I said earlier, just now, if let's say I didn't tell you about grotesque and you were actually farming, like you're actually good at the build now, but if I didn't tell you ahead of time that there are grotesque explosions and you strafe towards it, I'm gonna kill you because if you used smoke screen already and you couldn't press it, or even vaulting in general, I mean, sure, vaulting is still a little bit better than smoke screen, but like I said, if you suddenly reappear from smoke screen, and you still get hit by different grotesque explosions. So let's say the grotesque explosion is not just isolated in one herd, but they are like max distance up away from each other. So like it's like a big screen of multiple hurdles of explosions. You're gonna die unless unless you swerve in a different direction or go backwards. But
Right.
because you're smoke screening, you can't really go backwards once you go forward already, right? So vaulting for tumble, it kind of saves you, but it doesn't depending on your health pool, right, and your resistance. So it's like a like a halfway point. Like vaulting is a halfway point better than smoke screening because you already plan to be out of the situation. Whereas smoke screen, you might still be in the situation and not thinking properly. So then you
Gotcha.
die. So anyway, I hope that helped with, some stuff. If other people in the chat are having issues with that kind of thing, that's the mobility part that I'm ranting on.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, at the beginning, yeah, refresh at the start of a GR, just do that 1 2 3 thing, and then start strafing, and then I'll try not to kill stuff so that you have hatred, and let you practice as well.
Okay.
So I see that you're dealing damage. Yeah, I see that you're dealing damage. So I'll just let you try to kill this if you can. Hmm.
Little bit weak.
Okay.
A little bit squishy.
Okay.
All good, Cricks. Oh wow, I just literally
Yeah,
broken.
yeah. That's because as soon as you pop back up, it's like you have no reaction time. You had to press your 1 2 3. Especially if your dark heart is gone, you're gonna drop dead faster again.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So in the next one, I think maybe I'll let you try a solo and get the hang of it first in a lower one because I
Okay.
don't want you to keep dying and get kind of annoyed by the build itself. So I definitely just practice it a few times and see what your and then so that I can kind of see what your other problem is.
Okay.
Yeah. So after this GR, we'll just let you do 1 or 2 runs, and then you will try to see what you have problems with, and then we can probably go from there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the diamonds would be one thing because I don't know during my
Yeah,
chat.
I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't change them out.
yeah. So that might be one thing, but that's just trying to think of what might possibly be the other stuff. And then I guess you have to get a hang of manually impaling. That one I had to learn a little bit myself. Have you ever played the God DH build, right?
No, no,
Oh, you
I
haven't?
haven't.
Okay, so or I guess I can just say
Oh, nice.
Whirlwind. Nice,
Yes.
Paragon 100, 1000. Congrats. Yeah, so you can think of this as like a Whirlwind bar, but not like going into the fight. Instead, you are like uh playing around on the outside. So you want to be strafing or spinning um every now and then away from them so that you don't get hit, right?
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, to be a little bit
so you
patient.
want to make half circles or something like that around them. So make half circles, like back and forth half circles, like zigzagging or whatever. So that might actually help you as well for survivability. Because I want to make sure you might need to know like how it's
How it's
played.
actually played. Yep.
Yeah, because I feel like you did like 1/3 the damage just now on the elite, and then I wasn't sure what else because I wasn't near you in the screen. But I'm trying to like figure it out because I even normally like help other people without playing the class or without playing the build, and I would try to visualize what problems they're having. So I was just trying to work it out.
So with you're saying manual pressing, is that press and hold or is that individual taps?
Individual taps. Yeah. So when you're actually feeling like you're strafing, like facing them, you want to manually impale e- every so often if you're not running out of hatred, which you probably are because I'm killing stuff. So that's the
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so it's just all about like in your solo you get to practice because I'm, you know, like this build is or like Carly's point as a weapon and as a legendary passive and the build itself is just so annoying that you have hatred issues if someone else is overkilling stuff. And then of course when you have channeling pylon it should be fine. So let's see. I want you to try to kill the Rift Guardian if we can. You want to be strafing and manually pressing if you can. I mean, let me see what's wrong. Hmm. Trying to see what's wrong, why your damage is not there. Am I missing something that I didn't do for you? I think I know why you're dying too. Okay. So there's another thing that we forgot to establish in the cube,
Okay.
and that's Dawn, because you might not have had it yet. So you want a Dawn in your cube for survivability, because we forgot about the Dawn for your vengeance uptime. So that's
Okay.
one other reason. So you need a Dawn. Yeah, you need to spend probably. Yeah, because I just saw the Odyssey's end, and I guess I was too covered trying to do the Shadow Impale. Forgot about the Dawn. Do you have a Dawn by chance, or you don't?
Let me take these out real quick. I
Yeah,
want
yeah, yeah. No problem. No problem.
before I forget.
Oh yeah, and because okay, never mind. Focus and restraint is there. Yep, good. Okay.
Dawn. Remind me what Dawn is. It talking about weapon?
One-hander. It's a one-handed crossbow. Yes, it's a weapon. One-handed crossbow.
I got two of them in my
Okay, so if you haven't extracted it, and if it's a low legendary power passive, just pick the lowest one so that
like 70 57 vengeance.
yeah, whichever is the lowest that isn't good. You want a, if you want a usable one for other builds, you want 63 and higher. But yes, so if it's lower than 63, you can extract it, and then we'll put that in the queue for your vengeance because we got the cooldown. We got the official cooldown that you want from your gear. We just forgot. I forgot about the dawn in the queue.
Okay, so I got Dawn, Raps of Clarity, and Rings of Grandeur.
Okay, good, correct. So that will help with with the vengeance that drops off halfway through, and that's
Okay.
probably one of the reasons why you started dying. Um, let me see what's on the damage front. Trying to see why lightning. You have lightning already. Ricochet is lightning. I mean, if we want to go proper, your chest piece, we didn't establish what to do with your chest piece. So in the chest piece, we could go Rain of Vengeance to 15% life. or yeah, 15% life. Or if you see the reduce elite damage, you can reduce elite damage if you want because it's pretty rare. But if not, it's 15% life. But your life shouldn't be the problem.
Okay, so what are we trying to reroll?
Your chess piece. So
So
I
what
Reign
is
of
it?
Vengeance
Okay, what are we rolling that to?
to 15% life or percent life.
Okay, okay,
And if you see reduce elite, you can pick reduce elite. But if you don't see it, don't worry about it. Yeah, 12% is good. So it's just I'm just okay. So after we close this one, I'm gonna leave, and then you want to practice it. Now, obviously, at the start of the door, you press that 1, 2, 3, and then when you play, you want to make sure you keep your bolas hitting targets as you strafe. I know this is gonna be a lot of work because that's the reason why people love the no generator because it's actually very less work. So what the no generator does is that I just press my 1, 2, 3, right? And then I go strafe, and then I do manual impale, which is the additional work, and then every now and then I vault as I need depending on my speed. And that's all you do. You just hold down strafe most of the time. You don't even need to do the manual impale if you don't want to in the speed runs. But as you're pushing, you want to do manual impales. Okay? So in
okay,
the no generator, it's very easy. But for the generator, like you're playing, so you do your 1, 2, 3, the usual start, and then every time you walk a few steps, you want to be doing your bolas in the direction of the enemies. Or
So
if
bolas right now is my left click. So at that
yes,
point,
so you need
I've got it set up to where like that's automatically going to be happening.
hopefully because if you're left clicking, your mouse might need to be like way ahead, right? To be able
Yeah.
to like kind of like well, unless you're really used to using shift for standstill or something, it's really not that easy to use the bola on the left click. I mean, sure, it might be easy and it might not. Okay, so and the reason why I actually did not like the generator build is also because that its bola is a little delayed, like it's like a half a millisecond of delay, and I feel like it doesn't help me. But I've practiced it now where it's fine. So on the left click, it's fine. You just have to have your mouse ahead, such that you're mousing over the monsters before they die from your strafing of impaling, so that you're actually getting the reps of clarity and the focus proc to come up,
Okay.
because that's your defense and offense at the same time. Because reps of clarity is such a huge damage reduction that that is all you have, really, for the generative version. So that is the thing that's holding back most people is how much work you want to put in for speed runs for the reps of clarity and the focus. So so as you're strafing, you want to do your bolas, and that's basically it. And then you add in the manual impales during the elite packs, like when you're like not killing them, and you're like while you're strafing and you somehow you feel like your character is facing them, so you're like facing their direction, then you just do a manual impale. Or when you see an oculus ring, then you can just strafe a little slower and intermittently press an impale against them and deal more damage. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna back out. I mean, I'm gonna drop you god gloves though. So I'm gonna, for fun, I'm gonna drop you some items here. Um, the nemesis can be helpful for your follower, perhaps if you don't have one yet.
I do.
Okay, and then the belt is also good for the follower if you're not using sages stuff. Um,
At this point, they just have whatever I had because at this point I literally just switched over, so
okay, okay,
I
gotcha.
need to. They're not really properly equipped.
Okay, so yeah, so but you generally want to have it. I know this build you don't have to have them ready, but eventually you do. So just in case you don't, then those items will help you with that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna leave and let you try to step it up slowly. So you probably don't want to try like a GR 100 then, or even 90. So you just keep trying to step it up from a 90 onwards, like 90, 95. And if you know that you're having hatred issues, then you have to start walking and boloing at the same time. So I'll just watch you for like, you know, a while. I think we I think we have settled everything, right? Because you're using Taeguk, Trapped, and Zeiss, so you're good. Yeah, I think you're
It's just
fine.
it's just getting those up to getting them leveled and
Yeah,
obviously getting.
yeah.
And
So
at this
let's
point, everything I got is a sand armor piece instead of ancients or
right,
anything else.
right, right. But that shouldn't be the problem. I think we'll just try a GR90 first and see if you have hatred issues. And if you have hatred issues, that means you're already killing very good.
Okay, perfect. Let me go release the water allies, and I'll be right back.
Sorry guys, sorry. I haven't been paying attention to my chat because I was helping the person the whole time. Um, I hope you guys are still there. Psychedelic, congrats on your 129. Hi Sultry. Sorry guys, sorry. I think I ignored my chat the entire time. I was very busy trying to get everything worked out. And I missed the dawn, which is kind of funny, I guess. Um, but but then again, eventually that gets fixed. We were just going through the shadow side the whole time, and I did get him the cooldown, overall cooldown anyway. It was just the dawn at the end that, if he hadn't farmed for it, we need to farm for it anyway. So it's not like a big deal that I missed it. But then again, if he had one, we should have cubed it. Let me message you in case I missed some people's chat.